Right, to plastic coat, one way of finishing metal is to use use polythene powder to plastic coat it. So, what we need to do is heat this metal up to a relatively low temperature, about 250 to 300 degrees, and put it in this polythene powder. Now, because the metal is hot, the powder will stick to it and then fuse together, so we've got a continuous shiny coating of plastic around the end of our piece of metal. Now, if we just put it in like that, the plastic will just stick to the metal where it touches it. So what we need to do is to introduce air into the plastic powder to make it act like a fluid. So if I turn this blower on here, you can see that the polythene powder is bubbling around as if it was a liquid. So when we put our metal in, it will coat all the way round. The first thing we need to do is to heat the metal to the right temperature. Now, the way we tell the temperature is by the colour of the oxide layer that forms on the surface. And in order to be able to see the oxide layer, I need to clean the metal up. So all the rust and dirt that's on it, I need to clean it off. So I'm going to use some emery cloth to do that. And what I need to do is to get the end of the metal that I'm going to plastic coat shiny, so that I should be able to see the colour of the oxide layer that is forming on the surface. Now, the oxide is formed when the metal reacts with the oxygen in the atmosphere, and it does so as it's heated. And at different temperatures, a different thickness of oxide layer is formed, and that different thickness of oxide layer reflects back a different wavelength of light, so it appears to us as a different colour. Okay, so now I've cleaned the end of that piece of metal enough, so I should be able to see what colour it is. Now I need to heat that up until, I want to do this end of it, so I'm going to heat that up until that end reflects back the blue wavelength of light. So when I first start heating it, it'll look like a yellowy or strawy colour, it's called, and then it'll go purple and then it'll go blue. When it gets to blue, I need to stop and put it in the polythene powder. Now, because the metal will be reasonably hot, I'm going to hold it in a pair of tongs. So that's how it's going to be. I'm going to light the blowtorch in a moment and gently warm that up until it is blue. It won't take long to get it to the right temperature. So, blowtorch on. We don't need a roaring flame. Something like that will do. Move it up and down on the metal so that it gets heated up evenly. Try and point out when it gets to the first colour. You'll see it sort of go yellowy. We're pretty much there now. It's important not to overheat it. Now I've got to turn the blower on. Dip the metal in and wait for a few minutes, and you see how the heat is passing through the plastic and fusing the grains of polythene powder together. And that's what it should look like. I've got to let that cool down now. Don't touch it until it is cool. It'll take longer than you might expect for it to cool down, because the plastic is effectively acting as an insulating layer around the metal, so it's retaining the heat. So something like this is going to take a good 15 minutes to cool down. So it's a good idea to put it in a vise somewhere and just keep an eye on it to make sure no one touches it.